Didn't even cross my mind that this was going to be the sport that I'd fall in love with.
He's from New Zealand, grew up in a marijuana grow house.
I hated school. Teachers couldn't get through to me. I started learning after 25. Fuck, if my wrestling coach came into school and told me to read a fucking book, it might have been different. The thudding was coming from a heavyweight who was hitting the bag. I've never actually said his name, but yeah.
I was with Fighter 17, catapulted your career. Tell us that journey to Tough 17.
I walk into this boardroom, long boardroom. Things are going really well, and then he says, all right, get the fuck out of here. He goes, what did I say? Get the fuck out of here. What the?
Yeah, there again. Don't drop your dream, Dylan.
I get a knock at the door. Door opens and Mike Tyson standing there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? The training didn't scare me.
I want people to watch the season and go, man, that dude's a beast.
I scared me.
Winner by TKO, Dylan. I'm blown away and impressed with Dylan. That's how it's done here.
Still competing, bro?
I know how I get when I get into competition. It's not good for my household. It might have been good 20 years. It's never good, but it's what you have to do. It changed my life so much. This is just my way of giving back. I love what I do.
He's one of the toughest and most electrifying fighters to come out of Australia and New Zealand, a UFC veteran, TUF standout, knockout artist, and founder of DTV Academy. Welcome to the Roast Arena, Dylan the Villain Andrews. Jim Bros Roast in Review.
Welcome to Jim Bros Roast and Reviews, where we travel around and speak to different trainers and coaches about their journeys into health and fitness, adding a bit of roasting along the way. Stay tuned and subscribe where you listen to your podcast. Today, episode 4, we're at DTV Academy at Labrador on the Gold Coast. Not much roasting's going on because we're talking to UFC vet and former professional fighter Dylan the Villain Andrews. He's going to run us through an MMA/wrestling session. We'll sit down and have a chat about his journey to MMA, through to the UFC, and post-UFC career, now running his own gym here on the Gold Coast. Now that we've got our breath back after that, here with Dylan the Villain Andrews. Bro, take us back to the start. Where did you grow up? Tell us your story.
So I was born and raised in New Zealand, Wellington, Lower Hutt. I always say Wellington because no one knows where Lower Hutt is, so I just say Wellington first and then we'll go down the list of places after that. But Lower Hutt, I was born there, raised there. Like any other Kiwi kid, man, I grew up playing all sports, you know, rugby, cricket, athletics. Those were sort of the main things that I did. Played rugby right up to about 25, found MMA and then sort of pretty much cut ties with everything, you know. But I was born and raised in New Zealand and I lived there for about 22 years before I moved over to Australia, moved to Sydney. Yeah.
Is that where you first got introduced to MMA?
I mean, I used to watch it back home. Like, I saw UFC 1 on a VHS tape, you know. You know, like a lot of other people, there's probably only one tape in New Zealand of the UFC and that was it, you know. So I watched that and then I would, you know, I was doing furniture removals at the time and then, you know, you'd drink on Friday after work and then we would go and practice in the grass out in the fields and just practice moves and real stupid shit. Didn't think anything of it, you know. I didn't even cross my mind, you know, that potentially this was going to be the sport that I'd fall in love with, and ultimately it would dictate, you know, sort of the rest of my life. Yeah. That was, yeah, that's sort of where it sort of started.
So MMA, started training, fighting on the local scene. When did you start training? And then sort of that initial journey of MMA and was on the coast where?
Yeah, so I started training in 2005, about 2005, 2006. And initially I just went to a video store to look for UFC DVDs to watch because by then I was sort of a bit of a fan and I loved watching the sport and back then there wasn't a lot around, you know, to sort of, you know, see it, you know. We didn't get pay-per-views or anything like that, so I'd go to video stores and they might have 2 or 3 DVDs or videos. And I would, you know, I've said this story many times, it's pretty cool actually. I would imagine how the fights were going. You know how there'd be pictures on the back of DVDs and videos? I would imagine and maybe, I don't know, there might be something going on up there. I don't know, something that I haven't quite unlocked yet. But anyway, I would used to look at it and then I would imagine how the fights were going and I'd play it out in my head. Anyway, that's another story. But then I was on that and then dust started falling down from the ceiling as I was looking at this video and I looked up and I was like, oh, fuck, what's that? Anyway, so I kept fucking, I kept really, rigging it and then more dust fell down. I was like, oh, fucking, I could hear like someone standing, like thudding, someone was stomping on the roof. I was like, what the fuck is that? Anyway, so obviously I got that DVD out and I walked next door. I walked past and walked to my car. And then I saw there was a door right next to the video shop and it said Lions Den Academy. And I was like, I recognise Lions Den Academy. It could have been any other name, you know what I mean? And I might not have pursued it, gone up. But because I was Lions Den, anybody who knows Lions Den, that was one of the big gyms back in the early 90s and early 2000s with Ken Shamrock and Frank Shamrock. So I referenced it to that. So I walked upstairs and I was like, wow, what's this? And then I walked upstairs and, to the left there was a boxing ring and then there's boxing bags right there at the top of the stairs and there was a wrestling mat down the side. But the thudding was coming from a heavyweight who was hitting the bag. Boom, hitting the bag. And give you Shane Dolman was the one. He might not know, and I've never actually said his name, but yeah, Shane Dolman was the heavyweight that was hitting the bag in the gym at the time. And that's what the dust. So Shane, I thank you. You shaped my life, Shane. You might have gone through life thinking, hey, I haven't really done much, or you might have. Sorry, I'm not even going to say that, but you impacted somebody's life in a strange way. You didn't know, yeah.
That's for royalties, no?
Yeah. But that was my initial introduction to MMA. So I went into that gym and the head coach there was Luke Pizzuti. And I mean, I was there for about 3 or 4 years, I think. And it basically molded me into everything that I am today. Not even just as a fighter, as a human being, as a person of how I carry myself, my work ethic, and it's fucking weird, Can I swear on this? Yeah, okay, yeah. It's really weird because it's just like you attribute behavioral patterns to sort of your childhood or your growth. You know what I mean? It's like the way you're raised is the way you are. Yeah, but I didn't think that. That wasn't me. I could always restart my life. I could always restart it anywhere I went. And that was a classic example of reshaping or rewiring the way I thought about a lot of things. They would teach me mixed martial arts, but in my own head, I was teaching myself a lot of other things of how I want to be and what I want to do and how I pursue that and how I carry myself and blah, blah, blah.
And that's the truth. It's mixed martial arts, it goes back to how you are pre-programming you as a person. That's why they heavily try and direct kids these days to martial arts. So you can always change. You might have your story but you can change that and change your path. And how many people have gone from having nothing to doing martial arts to having a career in fighting, MMA, UFC. So that's a testament to that.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I remember seeing you, bro, in the early, I think must have been around 2010-ish or at the PCYC. In around PCYC, I think you were there I was watching some fights and I seen you there. And that must have been around this time you were you got an opportunity to go over to the States and do the Ultimate Fighter, right, mate? Tell us about that. How did that all?
Yeah, so again, these opportunities that pop up yearly, so I'm not sure how it's run now, but like every year or so they would audition worldwide. They would say, hey, the call out goes, we're auditioning for middleweights and heavyweights. They'll always put 2 weight classes in just to sort of see what type of feedback and numbers they get, from a turnout standpoint. And obviously the more numbers they get, they can work with that a lot more than they could if they had less. So for the first 3 attempts, that's pretty much sort of how it went for me. I went for the initial weight class that was advertised and I never sort of made it through. And it was sort of based off, we're not sort of looking for that weight class right now, we're going to go with this weight class because the numbers just aren't there, It happened 2 times in America and it happened 1 time in Australia. And after the Australian one, it's the first time I thought, fuck, man, maybe I'm just fucking wasting my time with it. Not because of the failure, or not even the failure, not because of not making it through on the Australian scene. I just felt I was better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, am I delusionally confident about my abilities? You know what I mean? Because I'm looking around the room and I'm like, fuck me, what the fuck? You know? Not in a disrespectful way, just in a fucking very, just like, you know, I just fucking, it was trash.
Yeah.
It was trash, you know?
People that were getting through.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And obviously there were some good ones, you know, you had Whitaker come through that, and, you know, there was some legit ones, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was also some trash that got through, and it was just like, I just, you know, I was like, oh, I got a bit disheartened, you know? And like anything, it took me a day or two to sort of switch that again and fucking, all right, here we go again. I'm not giving up, so fuck, go again, you know? And obviously the next thing happened. The next thing that happened to me was, okay, that's why it all happened.
Yeah, it was timing. Like, you're tough 17, was it 17?
Yeah.
I was with Fighter 17.
Yeah.
Obviously probably one of the more popular seasons overall. So
Yeah.
all those things was a sign, you know, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
And in a sense it was a blessing to make it to that one, because
Oh yeah.
you know, that really catapulted your career, and obviously the eyes on it. So tell us that journey to Tough 17.
Yeah, so Tough 17 obviously was much like the other ones from a process standpoint. Obviously we had to go through all the same protocols and everything else like that. Yeah, we did middleweights, and I think welterweights were another weight class, but it was middleweights, and we had like, there was probably about there was around 400 or 500 middleweights that they had show up to this audition. And there was some studs there. Like there was some really good middleweight fighters. Like they had really all showing up for this, you know. And it was like, okay, so the first process of the audition is you grapple. Okay, so what they do is they number you off into 1 to 20, 1 to 20, 1 to 20, all the way through 4 to 500. And what they'll do is they'll call in 20 at a time. So you've got at that time we had Joe Silver, we had Dana White, we had all these people on the panel. Sitting there watching you grapple wrestle essentially. So they'll call 1 to 20. So you've got 20 fighters in a room. You've got essentially 20 alphas just sitting in this room all staring at each other thinking, okay, who am I going to get paired up with, you know?
Yeah.
And I was the last one to get paired up. So, fucking hell. Yeah, fucking hell, man. Call me first. So I get called last, and then I'm up against this guy, and obviously just the goal is to just go. Like, you've got 1 minute to show them what you have. You know what I mean? So that was very much at the forefront of what I was going to do and how I was going to sort of go about this role or this wrestle with this guy. So obviously did very well. So they do that, then they call 10 through out of the 20. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still no Dylan. So name 9 people, and then 10. Dylan Andrews. Oh fuck, here we go. Okay, beautiful. I can breathe. Yep. So we move through to the next round, which is pad work. So you show them your boxing skills, kickboxing skills, blah blah blah. So you go with a pad holder that they've chosen. So I work with them, and then again, obviously impress them with the stand up. So and then that's the process of you sort of your grounding your stand up. But they also need to know who you are as a character, who you are as a person, and are you going to be good for TV? I've never been very good at faking things, so basically what they were going to see is what I was going to get. Like it was just fucking, just go in there. Just me. I don't know how to be fucking anything else. So anyway, so we go in there. I'm with the director of Spike TV at the time. So I walk into this boardroom, long boardroom. Well, it felt long. I'm pretty sure it was long too. It was long. There's these big, huge wooden doors that you have to pull open, and you walk down this long corridor, and you've got this big executive desk, and you've got all the executives of Spike TV there. And it's the owner of Spike TV who interviews you. So, because like ultimate, and he's the one that you'll always see. He was the one who would sit cage side with the glasses. So he'd always sit next to Dana White at the fights, and he was the one with the glasses. He's the one who interviews everybody. And he looked at the paper and he goes, oh, you're from New Zealand. So boom. So we start talking about the All Blacks straight away. So I was like, okay, cool. We can build some rapport. All Blacks. Yep, sweet. That's easy. We can talk about the All Blacks. So we talk about that. And then things are going really well, really confident. And then he says, all right, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, fucking blue. I was like, yeah, fuck. And he said it in those words. He said, all right, get the fuck out of here. So I'm like, fuck, I get up and I start walking down with my fucking tail between my legs, walking out the room, and I open the door and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's fucking weird, man. Like some shit that fucking happens and just like how things work out. And I'm like, fuck. So I open the door and then I close it and then I start walking back down the fucking corridor like a loser, like back to the desk, and I'm like, fuck. I can't leave. I just said, I was like, what do I say? Like, that's it. That's all I could say. I was like, I can't lose this. I can't leave.
Yeah.
And he goes, what did I say? Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, fuck. And he goes, get the fuck out of here, kid, you're in. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I just had a big grin on my face and I walked to the door, I opened the door, and I've got you got about 100 guys lined up outside this room, outside the store, all waiting. And they're looking at me because they're looking for a reaction. Yeah, they're looking for it. And I just kept my head down. And there was a friend of mine, a buddy of mine, Bryce Rattani. He was a Māori living in Vegas, and he was standing at the end of the line, and he was like this. And then I just lifted my head up and I go, and then put my head down and just carried on walking. And that was it, man. And it was just like, it's fucking strange, man. But it's not strange, but I really had to let go of a lot of issues and fears that I had and that would usually hinder me. And I just had to like, fuck, I have to let go because this is it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm fucking all in. And it was very much an all in thing for me at that time, you know, and I you know, and you know, I could have gone either way. I could have got denied again, you know, and I could be back there the next year, fucking trying again. But it was just like, that was it. That was the right time and it was the right place. And
perseverance, bro.
Yeah, everything. Yep. Everything that I've heard or seen on YouTube came to life.
Did you know who the coaches were for that season?
No.
You didn't know who the coaches were? Wow.
No. So we didn't know who the coaches were.
But speaking on that, like, you'll probably get to it, but I watched the season 17. There was a coach on there that you sort of bonded with, or what was his name again?
Stonehorse, Coach Stonehorse.
He had a funny name. That's right.
Yeah.
Was he American Indian or something?
Yeah. And he had a real terrible story, you know. And I don't want to go into it because I don't know enough about it, but you know, it's you know, we just had a real connection. Obviously,
indigenous probably.
From a tribal standpoint, you know, we very much gelled, and you know, right off the bat, you know, it was just natural. And then he played a big part, and you know.
So you got in. Then you found out who the coaches were, which was pumped. I think I think at the time we were all pumped because we found out who the coaches were and you're going to be doing it. You came back home, correct? Continued training?
Yep.
Once you got in, a similar thing happened, was it? I'm trying to recall, but did you really the last pick to go into the team again?
Yeah, last all the time, last to fight too. So I was the last one picked. Yeah. But again, not a shock. Yeah. You know, not really. Yeah, it wasn't. I was like I was too dialed in. I was really dialed in. I was grateful and thankful that I was there. You know what I mean? So I just, whatever happened, you know. I just knew I knew why I was there. And I knew what I had to do on day one, which was another thing that I think changed the trajectory and the course of the rest of that season for me. Okay, so you've got to understand, when you put 14 alphas in a house, like, someone has to be. It doesn't matter. It's not like, we can. It doesn't work with 14 men. 14 fighters, like, especially, and we're all tying for one spot. It's not like, we're all going to get a piece. No, I'm going to have to fucking stand on you to get that one. You know what I mean? And it's not in a bad way. It's that I'm going to have to use my skills to get ahead of you. You know what I mean? So from day one, and I think this was a purposeful thing on John Jones's part. John, I think he did this on purpose, brother. He put me against the best guy on the team, Bubba McDaniel, who was supposed to be the man. He was supposed to be the man. And he was John Jones's training partner. So, you know. So he put me with him first to sparring. I was like, okay, cool, this is good because in my head, I'm gonna take him out. Like I'm gonna take him out on day one. So that sets the tone for the team, and it sets the tone for, okay, just because I'm picked last, don't think you're gonna. This is how it's gonna be for the whole season. You know what I mean? So it was a case of, all right, we sparred. I'm not gonna talk about the sparring. We don't talk about the sparring, but it went well, and it set up again the trajectory for my path through the Ultimate Fighter. You know. But
Who was your first fight? Who was it?
I had Zach Cummings.
Zach Cummings, that's right.
Yeah, yep. So he was the most experienced in the house too. He had the most professional fights. Again, coming from last pick to obviously fighting Zach, who had knocked his opponent out in I think 8 seconds or something to get in. So you know, again, I did well and got the win.
Well, what's your mindset going into that, bro? Like you're saying, like there would have been not much time to relax and and chill in that whole experience. I imagine you're with all these guys all the time, even when you're at home, like just dog eat dog sort of.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were cordial, you know what I mean? You have to be, and you have to conserve energy, and you have to, we were fully aware that we're going to fight each other, so there's no point in us fucking barking around in this house. We all got on. And this was the thing too with this season, was they changed the format of the season. It wasn't so much they wanted controversy. They didn't want that. It was very much going to be a documented sort of based reality show, you know, so you got to really see the lives of all the fighters, which was really awesome. And again, that's why we hit #1 in the US for the TV running that week. They flipped the script, and it was why we got the highest ratings. It was, and again, everyone loved it, you know, the numbers show and the feedback shows it was run well and good quality fighters and good run. It was
high level.
It was fucking high level. Yeah.
Would you say the pivotal moment for you in that season was the win over Luke? That sort of your trajectory just went. And that got you through to the semis part of it.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about it. Obviously, I know he was 6'10" or whatever.
Yeah. So he was a big boy, and obviously I felt every bit of that, you know, because I knew he. You know, obviously we fight at 84 kilos, but I knew he wasn't coming in at 84. More so because we lived together, so I really know that he's not coming in at 84. It's more like 94, 96. You know, and I always walked around. I was a real small middleweight, around 89 kilos, you know, so I was always gonna. But that was something that I chose. I always wanted to sort of be the faster, more agile fighter. You know, so that's sort of just the role I sort of played. Again, before that, I was sitting in my changing room, and then I get a knock at the door, and then fucking door opens and Mike Tyson standing there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, hey, I think we can all appreciate Mike Tyson. I think you know what I mean. He was the one, other than the Hulk and every other Marvel character, he was the next best thing, you know. And when he sort of got the knock at the door, and him and Dana are standing there, I'm just like, fuck, it's. All right, send me out. Fuck, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I could not have been more energized. Any more than I had. You know, and you say I wasn't going to lose that fight, and you know, shit happens. But fuck me, that was as close to. I don't know. It was as close to this is done. As it could ever be. That fight was done. You know what I mean? And me knocking him out in front of Mike Tyson, right in front, fuck.
So that's one of the highest points of your career?
100%. You know, have I fought in bigger stadiums or bigger crowds? Hell yes. Have I knocked someone out in front of Mike Tyson? Fuck no. Have you guys done that? Hey, that's it. Fucking let's go. So you know what I mean? And I just remember after doing that, jumping up on the cage, and they got all these old UFC fighters, and I was just taking it all in. I just take it all in. I was just looking. I was just fucking. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe this. And it was just the most
we were proud, man. We were watching it and just jumping up on the.
I mean, the feedback that radio stations calling me that even that I used to listen to as a kid, you know, and I've got these, you know, the morning talk shows calling me, just man, my husband was just he was losing his shit, he was up on the couch bouncing around. I was like, yeah, fuck, that's what's up, you know. But it was just like I said, I've had good wins and you know, fought in big places, but fuck.
Mike Tyson,
Yeah. Fuck, actually,
And
Don't think about that much, actually. Fuck.
after that was through to the finals, and you fight Uriah Hall. Was that the next fight?
Yeah.
Did you go in with the same confidence because he had that brutal knockout?
Yep,
You know, one of the most brutal ones on the season.
Yeah.
You know, did you have the same, feeling, confidence going into that one?
No, I didn't. And it wasn't from a like. So you got to understand, I was the last one to fight. So once you're the last one to fight, everything goes back to back.
Yeah.
So I had Zach coming, so I went 3 rounds. I went the 4 rounds. I had Luke, which was tough, and then I think maybe 5 days later I fought Uriah.
Yeah.
And I was drained, and it wasn't more like I'd given so much to that last fight, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And it just, it didn't go the way I fucking wanted it to go. But would I've liked to have been fresh? 100%. But that's not the competition. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? And he was just fortunate enough that he finished everyone in the first round. So he was still relative. He was fresh.
Yes.
So I sort of had to hit him fucking after doing fucking 10 rounds. Plus the other fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, unbelievable talent, and
Yeah. Yeah, we know another thing, and exactly. You both had different careers, and
yeah, that's it.
So then, how long after that end of the season did you get your contract? You didn't come back and fight. You got a contract straight away. Oh, you fought on the end.
Yep. So basically, because the season was so good, like sort of Dana's sort of gift or hospitality, whatever you want to call it, to that season, he allowed everybody to come back and have a fight on a main card, on an actual UFC pay-per-view card. So. We all came back, and obviously whoever won got a contract. Yeah. And obviously we went to Vegas a few months later, and then fought at Mandalay Bay, and I got the knockout first round, and then got the contract off that.
So after that, you're contracted into UFC. I remember watching one of your fights, and you got injured.
Yep.
And you continued on. What happened there? You give us a bit of a...
So I dislocated my arm throwing a punch. It sort of ricocheted off his shoulder, and and I was like, obviously, So I hit somebody, overextended, it popped out, and it came out from the back. So once I went back and they did the surgery, they said the back of my rotator cuff exploded. So when the ball and socket joint comes out, it sort of slips out. So sometimes there's no damage to the rotator cuff itself.
Yeah.
So what happened with mine is mine got pushed out, pushed the back of my shattered the back of my rotator.
Yeah.
And then fell out, then came out. So I did it just.
That again?
Clint Hester.
Clint, and you went on to win that, right?
No.
You didn't win that?
No. Well, they had to stop
I
it.
think James doing it.
Ah, sorry.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We won that one.
Mistaken for
But
him.
yeah.
Hey, Jamie.
There's not many more.
Yeah. But So similar story though. Yeah. But so that arm went out.
And you fought. He was on the season 2, Clint. Eh?
Yeah, he was on the same season as me. He was on my team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Real awesome guy.
Yeah.
Got on well.
Yeah.
I've even gone to Atlanta many times and stayed with him and trained and stuff like that. Yeah, real awesome guy.
Tell us about that, bro. Your fight camps. Like you always hear. Like I remember, you used to watch. They used to document. Have the documentaries about all the different fights. Tito Ortiz is going up to Bear Mountain, all up in the hills. What were those fight camps like, bro?
They're as brutal as the person who's doing them. Like in a sense of like I tell my fighters and everything else. Like training is as hard as you make it.
Yeah.
And I set a standard so high. That I got nervous for trainings because I knew the training didn't scare me. I scared me. I scared how hard I was going to push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what I say. People say, oh, what's the best exercise? Well, fuck training. Getting in your head and fucking taking the fucking resistance off. You know what I mean? And just going all the way. And that was sort of how I conducted training, So, I've done some big camps, Colorado was probably one of my bigger ones, where we trained at like high altitude and trained up in the mountains and like real high. I think Crawford goes up there. It's one of his places where he does his camps too. So that was pretty intense. But again, it's as intense as you make it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And your level of training, obviously in America, the wrestling, what do you think from Australia and New Zealand. What do we take over there that they're impressed with? We're impressed with their wrestling because that's what they've been doing since kids.
Yeah.
What do Aussies and New Zealanders take over there that they're like, oh, we need that and to implement that sort of? Do they take anything from our side of the world?
I think it's pretty obvious what they're sort of taking from us now. But I'll use city kickboxing as an example. You know, for the stand up. Yeah. You know what I mean? The kickboxing, the striking, and you know. So I think that's what the boys are doing so well over there now. Yeah. And it's good because it's like, okay, like, and this is what I tell people, is like, we're not, and you don't have to get to the same level of wrestling as them over there. And I knew that from a very early stage, which is like I've fought against real high level wrestlers, and I've been quite successful because I'm not trying to out wrestle them. I just know what I need to do in order to defend it. You know what I mean? And get back to my feet and use my hands. And I think that's what we've done very well here. You know, I think that's probably the biggest thing is takedown defense. Not so much engage with it, but try to find ways to work around it. You know.
So, bro, you had how many fights in the UFC all up?
I think I had five main UFC ones, and probably about 4 on the Ultimate Fighter.
4 on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, and 5 in the UFC. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about, bro. So you've done that. You do your career.
Yep.
Awesome. You know, like not many polys, not many moldies in that time. You know, I'd say you and Jamie and that was sort of you know.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's awesome. You know, you finish your career and then you transition back to you come back here.
Yep. Well, I finished UFC, but then I'm offered a fight on the European circuit.
Right.
So I'm offered a good fight. I'm offered a middleweight title fight in Europe.
Yeah.
And it's against a former opponent that I knocked out in the UFC. Right. Okay. And now the reason I think all this came to play was I believe that they thought it was a fluke that I knocked him out because he was doing so well in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've always been known for my conditioning. It's like it's not over till it's over because I can go 3 rounds. I can knock you out in the 3rd or in the 1st. You know. So he was doing very well, doing very successful, and then I knocked him out in the last round. So that was the guy, and he was sort of the hometown favorite in Sweden. Yeah. So this Swedish organization approached me and said, hey, listen, we would like you to fight Poppy for the middleweight title over here.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah. So as soon as I got that call, like I do, I go not straight into camp, but I'm like, all right, I disappear. I'm off to America now. Yeah. So I go to Atlanta and then I start my training camp. And then from Atlanta, I fly so I'm training with Top Team in Atlanta. And then I met a wrestling coach when I was over there initially. So I was over there. Well, initially I went over there to visit a friend and visit friends and go to one of our other friends' funerals who passed away, Josh Saman, who was from the season 17 of The Ultimate Fighter. So initially we all went over there and met in Miami, went to Miami, like Jacksonville, Florida, to see him. And then I met up with a wrestling coach from Penn State who was in Atlanta at the time. And I was talking to him and stuff like that. I said to him, hey, listen, I've got a fight. I've been given a fight. I want to come back and I'd like you to coach me, you know, for this. I want you to be on my corner. And he goes, yeah, sure. You know, in his American voice, blah, blah, blah. And then I call him a week later and I said, are you ready for me to come? And he goes, oh, were you serious? I go, yeah, my flights are booked. Can I stay with you? And he goes like, okay, yeah, cool, come over. And then we worked together for 6 weeks, but I don't think he's met any, and I'm not saying I'm an original, but I don't think he's met people like me, like when I do that. So he was like, I met, and then I trained with him, and we brought other guys in. We brought Ovin St. Preux, he's a light heavyweight in the UFC. So we brought a few other boys from that area, from the south area. So we brought a team together and we got ready. And then we flew out to Spain. We flew out to Sweden. And then I fought there and obviously was successful, won the title. And then, that was it.
That's your last pro fight? Was that when was your last?
No, I had many other fucking terrible fights that I shouldn't have taken. Well, probably about 3 actually. Yeah. But
back here or?
Back here. Yeah. well, that's that's another story. That's another time. But yeah, so that was my last overseas fight.
And now transitioning out of MMA, obviously you had your UFC career.
Yep.
Now running this facility, DTV Academy.
Yep.
Was that always the plan to go from fighter to a coach?
Yeah.
Was that always in your mindset that's what you were going to transition into?
Yeah, I think it was going to be the most natural transition, and not only that, just something that I would love and enjoy. Like I've spent, I just spent 20 years doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love coaching, I love teaching. I love what I do. Yeah. I love what I do. So to me, that's just what it's sort of about, is making sure I wake up loving what I do.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you got a wealth of knowledge, like
Your
career, it was a long one. You had many fights. Like, what was how many fights overall was it in your career? 50 odd? What did you get to in the end?
Like around about 30 something fights.
Yeah.
Many wrestling matches, like a lot of jiu-jitsu, like everything. But probably about 30 something pro fights. Yeah.
So not very many on this side of the world have that much experience.
Yeah.
Still competing, bro? Still competing in jiu-jitsu? Hung up the boots?
No.
Or the gloves? Or
And the thing too with me is like I know how I get when I get into competition. I know how I am. Yeah. I can't do both. I'm all in, and I found that out when I had my pro boxing fight like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes,
You know what I mean? And I got the phone call and it was like switch, and it was like it's not good for my household. It might have been good 20 years. It's never good. But it's what you have to do to. It's what you
to be competitive.
I have to immerse myself in this role.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and I found that out even at 42 when I had my last boxing fight, and I was just like, fuck, it's still there. And I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but I didn't like it at that age. I didn't like it because I'm really. Don't speak to me, don't talk to me. Mrs. Nah, go away. Nah, nothing. No time. Kids, go get. Don't annoy me. You know what I mean? And that was just how I was, and I'm very open about that, even to people who say I was a great family man and stuff like that. I wasn't a bad person, and I want to explain that. But by no means, like I fucking cut everything.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Sacrifices have to
I
be
sacrificed
made.
everything.
Yeah.
And that's why you're able to get to the levels that you get. It's the difference between the people who want to get there and the people that get. Right, so the gym, thriving, going really well. Obviously, we spoke a little bit about this off camera. Good coaches. You managed to persuade our old coach Vinny. Coach Vinny.
Hey, coach.
To come in and coach. How's that been? Like, he's obviously got a lifetime of experience. Yeah, and passing it on to young kids. How's that been for him? You enjoying that?
I mean, it's like we were talking before. Like I literally brought in what worked for me. You know what I mean? And I want to give these guys the best opportunity. Like I want to give these guys the best opportunity, whatever they choose to do. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say, all right, listen, this is what we have, and this is, we have. The accolades speak for themselves. We don't talk much about it. It should be just something that you can figure out on your own. You know what I mean? We're not talkers here. As you can see, we're very much come in if you want to. If you want, this is what you have to do, And it might come off wrong to some people, but like I said, our fucking logo is like it's not for everyone. And hey, it might not be the best business slogan, but fuck, hey, it attracts the people we want, and that's our target market. We target people who want to work and get somewhere. And it doesn't have to be fighting. It can be fucking anything. You could bring an executive in here, and he's going to understand the concept of hard work. That's it. It doesn't have to be a fighter, but I'm going to fucking push you. And that's it, because I know no other way, and I value people's money and time. If they're investing that into this business, they should know this. They should know why I'm pushing them. It's because I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate their money. I appreciate their time. And this is my way of paying them back.
Return on investment.
Yeah, that's it. And whether they understand that or not, I have to verbalize it, because sometimes I come across as a fucking bad person. But I only am with love, and that's it. That's it.
I'm a firm believer too. Like, you outside of, if you've got a career, if you've got that base of training, keeping fit, taking taking the effort to get up early, come to a gym or train either hours away, that's only going to help all aspects of your life. You know, so pushing them in a gym like this is only going to set them up for success in their business or in their career or whatever it may be. Yeah, they might never want to go to the UFC. They might not even want to have a fight. Yeah, but I think it's definitely helps people in more aspects than they believe. Just that hard work, that consistency, coming in every day, and you watch all the other things that sort of just get better over time. Or got a couple fighters. You know, you got a few. You got any that you believe have what it takes to make it in the same career to the UFC? Yeah.
Yep. I do. Like I've got like we're sort of all on the same track in the sense of what's required and what's expected of these guys, and I'm very vocal about that with these boys. And you have, like us, you have to be. This is not a game you play, and it requires time and effort and sacrifice. And would I like them to sacrifice? Like me, nah, I can't, because it's a different age too. You know what I mean? So I have to take that into account. What was very, I don't say easy for me to do 20 years ago might not be as easy. So I got to sort of not so much tiptoe, because the old me just comes out and it's just like, fuck it, you know?
Keep it real, man.
Just keep it real, you know? But it's, I'm very vocal about what's expected of these guys, and I've got sort of 5 guys that I'm sort of grooming for that process, and it's not like I'm not choosing it; they're showing it. Yeah, of course. Because it doesn't matter what I think. The amount of people I've had come up to me and say, "I want to make the UFC, man. I just want to train." I'm like, "Oh yeah." That was the last time I saw them, when they made that dream. They're fucking, I've had 100 wishes, bro, and none of them have come true. So fuck. So they show me. It's not, I don't go, he's going to make it. I'm like, he's here again, he's here again, he's here again. He's not missing sessions, he's showing up, he's enthusiastic, he's helping his teammates. He's there when he's out of camp and these guys have got camps. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the fucking guy flies off the wall with a Superman punch or anything like that. You know, it's just your attendance and your enthusiasm shows me a lot.
We spoke about a little bit about this off camera. Coming through back in the day, there was a lot more MMA gyms, heaps on the coast. You know, the fighters were like just animals. Like, you were one of the pioneers. You had Api, you had Big Jim. You know, all these guys that were just menace. You know, you look at them in the street, you cross the road.
For sure.
You could tell.
You could tell. You knew.
Now,
even Big Jim, I see him now, I go across the road.
Same, because he might rob me. That's right, I seen him last week. Hey, Big Jim. Hey, brother.
But yeah, like, what do you think? What do you testament that to? Like, what do you attest that to? Like, it's I can't put a finger on it, because, you know, now you see the guys like Steve Erceg. Right, you look at him and you go, man, that dude, he's a killer. Like, I just look for ears now. When I see someone, I look at the ears.
That's the giveaway.
Like, it's just like, there's less germs. There's the guys aren't as threatening. Is it just the generation
change?
Yeah, I think it's a real good question, man, because like you said, you could pick it back in the day. You know what I mean? You'd see Big Jim and you'd cross the street. Like, you know what I mean? It just was what it was. I'm not sure what it is today. I just
you need to look at the heavyweight in the UFC. The heavyweight in the UFC is not as threatening as it was back then.
Like Cain Velasquez or
all the big guys just don't. Is that why that's losing its?
I don't know if it's more like, okay, that could be like, maybe it's like, it's a lot more professional now. You know what I mean? It very much is a business. You know what I mean? And I think individually people are conducting themselves in that way. Whether they look stupid doing it or not. Like, you know, shout out to press conferences and suits and stuff like that. We're starting to see, and it's there's more cameras, there's more eyes, there's more, okay, people are looking at me, I've got to present myself better. You know what I mean? As opposed to us, we were just fucking, fuck it. You know what I mean? You rock up to weigh-ins, tracksuit, fucking.
So like, you back then, I think you hit the nail. It was raw talent. Like, you could just show up and fight.
That's it.
Where nowadays, you just can't show up and fight. Like, Jim would just show up and fight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And knock dudes out.
Yeah.
Now he can't do that.
Yeah, that's right.
You got some guy that's been training his whole life
Yeah.
since he's 14.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I think, yeah, you know the nail there. That answered that question, I think.
Yeah.
Because back then it was true grip, raw grip,
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
Street fighters could
Yeah.
make themselves a career.
I think a classic example of how it used to be back in the old days is those 1 minute scraps. That's what it was like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? The backyard brawling is there. That's very much it. You just rock up to the backyard and start punching on. It's that, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see those guys rock up to a press conference in a suit. You know what I mean? They're going
We'll
to...
do 5-minute rounds.
Yeah, they're going to show up with a bucket of KFC and then fucking put it down and start swinging. But I think that might be it.
100%.
Yeah.
You finished with your professional career. You came back
Yep.
after you finished competing.
Yep.
And like, was there a moment there where you're like, you know, you talk to people, finish professional sports and that sort of like, you can get lost trying to figure out, did you have any of that, or you sort of pretty much knew exactly what you were going to get into and just continue
I knew
on?
what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I knew this was it, you know. It just made sense if something else popped up in the time or the process of pursuing this, whatever. But this was always going to be
Lifetime.
This was just going to be it, you know.
Well, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it changed my life so much, you know what I mean? It's hard to sort of turn my back, and it's not that I'm not neglecting some other thing that's out there that I could be missing out on. Like, this
Fires you up.
changed my life. This fucking changed my life. And all for the positive, all for the better. And if I can, this is just my way of giving back. You know what I mean? And I want other people who are fucking, you know, probably, like, I don't know about lost or anything like that, but this solves a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Coming in here fixes a lot of the guesswork for a lot of people, you know, and at least allows them time to think about things. You know what I mean? There's so much in doing this, you know. It's not just coming in and getting a sweat up. I know for me too, like I hated school. I hated learning. School actually made me dumb. It didn't make me want to learn. Okay, I'm not saying this for everybody, like, it's just me. Like, I hated school, and the teachers were fully aware that I hated school, so they were fully aware of putting me behind the blackboard every day because I was just disruptive. I was like, you know, but the thing is, I love learning, and I didn't think I loved learning. I didn't think I loved it. I thought I hated learning. So what that did was it just closed me off from a lot of things. Just I didn't want to learn in general because it sucked. To me, it was boring. And then I found MMA, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're saying I love learning? Oh, I love learning these new things. Oh, fuck, learning makes me feel good.
Everyone's got
that. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was just again, like I said, it was just rewiring me. You know what I mean? All these preconceived notions that I had of shit, like learning, that I thought was fucking sucked. It was like, fucking no, dummy. It's like fucking, that just wasn't for you. You know what I mean?
Style.
It just wasn't the way I learned. And guess what? MMA that made me want to pick up a book and read. Like, you know what I mean? I was ready to go at my time, but I needed something to teach me. You know, because the teachers couldn't get through to me because it just wasn't how I registered. But if my wrestling coach came into school and told me to read a fucking book, it might have been different, you know what I mean? You know, and it was just, that was it. Like, I started learning after 25. I started doing things, you know.
I'm a big fan of your content, like your stories on Instagram. So if you're not following the bro, like, you know, it's raw, it's real, it's direct, it's authentic. You know, yesterday you brought up about that, the new fight championship, IBC. And yeah, like, for people that don't know, like, what was your takeaway from that show? I was there, but
obviously I was there cornering a friend of ours. So initially that's what I was there for. I was just there, but like anything, I've been backstage to a lot of events, and this is just one thing that I personally do. I like to walk around and look at the production, and it's just how I am. I just want to see how the stadium's set up. I want to see the cage. I want to see the production. I just want to see everything. I'm fascinated by that shit. And before the crowd come in, it's just a really good time to sort of go around and do that. So I went around the show, and I was like, wow, stadium's really awesome. It's really nice. You know, I get to walk into the cage, and then I hop in the cage, and then again, that fucking switch in me, and it's, unless you're a fighter, well, I don't know it, because I don't know what the other type of people do or feel when they go in there, but I know as a fighter, when I stepped in there, something switched, and it was just like, wow. I was like, as a fighter, when I stepped in there, it was the same emotion I got when I step into a cage and fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said in the video, it's very unnerving, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. And then, like the videotapes where I start looking at the pictures and imagining I'm sitting in the cage and I'm starting to see fights play off in my head, and I'm watching fights in my head, and I'm going, oh fuck, oof, that's brutal. You know? And so I step back out and fucking take a breath, because it does, for me, it gets quite intense. Like, it just fucking is. I don't know what it is. And probably because the cage is smaller too. Like, again, there's no room to move.
Yeah,
like, the walls start closing around on you. And I was just in there and I was like, wow, this is pretty intense. And then I walk down the steps and start walking around the stadium and stuff. I was like, oh, it's a nice stadium. And then the first fight starts. I go stand at the curtain, and before the guy walks out, and I'm watching the curtain, I'm looking at the crowd, and I'm just sort of feeling the energy, and and then these guys hop up in there, and then they just start fucking swinging, and it's just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it's just like, they call it the Holloway. It's become a thing now, they point to the ground, and it's just like...
Lights come down.
Yeah, and then the fucking the stadium lights went out, and the fucking beam of light came down, and I'm like, whoa, man. I was getting goosebumps, and I was just like, this is intense. And it just, like I said before, I had a preconceived notion of what this was, you know what I mean? And it wasn't good, or it wasn't positive, you know what I mean? But when I went there and I experienced it, and I felt the energy of the crowd and everything else going on around, I was like, fuck, I was a fan, I'm not gonna lie, I became a fan. It was very, I could see potential in the show, and and obviously having potential in the show means potential for more fighters and more avenues for people to go, and it goes on from that.
Like we said, there used to be so many shows. We fought on a lot of shows back in the day. There were so many more opportunities for fighters to get exposure and get fights. Now there aren't as many, or there's mainly one or two big shows now.
Yep.
Do you see legs in IBC? Like, shout out to Dan from IBC. Like, I know him. And man, what he's been able to pull off there, I was the same as you, like looking at it, I was blown away. Didn't attend the first one. Yeah. And then heard a lot of good things about it, and then happy. Like, I'm definitely locked in. I'll be at all of their shows now. So making a comeback? No.
Dan asked me to. Nah.
Right on, mate. I only won the rounds.
That's chaos, man. And and another thing was too, like when I was watching these boys, it's like, and that question obviously gets brought up, and especially yesterday, got brought up quite a lot about coming back. And I'm just like, it's not a fair thing. It's just like, I'm just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at these guys, like they're chomping at the bit. Like, they're backstage, they're just ready to go out and I don't have that kill anymore. You know what I mean? And as brutal as that might sound, it just is what it is. You've got a kill switch, and it's like you flick it on before you go out, and you turn it off when you hop out. You know what I mean? And it's just not there. And I see these guys, and I see their passion, and I see their excitement, and they go out and they start fucking swinging. I'm like, fuck, And it's fucking full on.
That's awesome. Bro, for me, just want to thank you for joining us today. And thank you. Like, obviously, you were a big motivation for us going back in the day. Young Māori kid coming through. We obviously try to mirror our brief careers off you and lend on you for a lot of experience and advice. So, I just want to thank you for that. Being a pioneer like you have been, and obviously this facility, and just excited to see, will this journey and the gym progress and your passion flow onto your students. So. All good, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. Brother. My man. Awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Thank you, my mate.
Stop, brother. Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Gym Bros Roast in Review.